Hey guys, do not get used to videos every day. I just needed to talk about this because I told you guys that I was gonna do it, and then I didn't mention it anymore because I totally forgot. But as I told you, I usually get into those rabbit holes when I'm reading anything that mentions another book or another subject. But since I have so many books to go through this month, I said that I was not going to do that. Instead of looking for the books that are mentioned, I will do a list of them. And I already have 8 books on that list. You can, if you're curious about the books themselves and how many I keep adding to it, I did create a list on my Goodreads, and it's called Came Out of Nonfiction November 2021. I know, it's not the most inspired name, but I couldn't remember anything else. And I already have 8 books there. Now, why am I mentioning this? I'm sorry, it was a car thing passing by. Anyway, I mentioned this because I think this is the power of books just in general, not even non-fiction, because this happens when I'm reading fiction too. A little bit more on non-fiction because they do base themselves on other books and other texts, and then they have to mention it. But this is something that keeps happening to me, and I was wondering if you guys want to join me and try this. If you're actually participating in Non-Fiction November and reading any type of non-fiction book during this month, and while you're reading it, there's other books that have been mentioned that for some reason you want to also check them out. You don't need to even want to read them in their entirety. You just want to grab them and look at them and see what are they all about besides helping that part of the narrative. Like, if you want to do it, is you just collect all those names, and at the end of the month, let's see how many more books we have on our to be read list that came from reading non-fiction. Like I said, this is not something that just happens when reading non-fiction. It happens more when reading non-fiction, but it happens with fiction too. But it's like for each one book, one title that I find in fiction, there's like at least 100 that I find in non-fiction. So yeah, let's see. I have one rule for myself though. I do not put on this list names that I find on the endnotes, the explanations at the end, just because you have 300 books on named there. If you go check, I just don't use them, because when I'm actually wanting to read something of X, Y, and Z subject, I pick up a book they already have, I go to the biography and the endnotes and check out the titles, and I start from there. So those books, I'm already gonna get to them in the future when I'm like, I don't know, for example, I'm on the Heart of the Sea by Nathaniel Philbrick. I'm almost finished with this one, and this one already gave me so many names, and I've checked as I was reading, I'm checking the endnotes, and I have way too many books there already. But when I want to know more about whale ships and disasters on the sea, I think there's a couple about surviving hunger and all of that. I know that those are the themes of this particular story. I just pick up this book from my bookshelf because I'm totally keeping this one, and check the name. So I'm not counting those. Does this make sense? Or was this just a little bit too convoluted? I think this makes sense. So I am doing that. If you guys are doing that, let's compare at the end of November. Let's compare notes and see how many books we end up with adding to our list of books to read because of Nonfiction November. Let's just make this exercise so we can have a true scope of how amazing it is to just get lost in books and get lost in nonfiction. And that's all for now, guys. Bye.